al pie del Ávila majestuoso, a 920 metros sobre el nivel del mar, en un valle de verde geografía que se abre de este a oeste, surge Caracas, la capital de Venezuela.
And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Go get some!
How's it going, fellas? Welcome to another episode, and we gotta refresh our image because this is Straight Outta Nation, because this is 100% Raiders podcast, including all rivals, NFL, college basketball, college football, and of course NBA, because this is pure attitude, because we're bleeding Raider Nation, motherfuckers. And welcome, because I know this is gonna be for a long time, but we're going to refresh something new, because this is right here. We gotta refresh our image, refresh our logo. I mean, that kind of happens a lot. But this time we gotta do something new, because not only we're just refreshing about my YouTube channel, but also about my social media, because to be honest, right now, it is the time for the process to rebend again. So, well, what can I tell her about this, folks? What can I tell her about this? So, welcome everybody to another edition of Straight Outta Nation with a brand new logo. And ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to tell you, between for the draft and of course the NBA playoffs, because for this moment, this is gonna be really explosive. So I just wanted to make sure, hit the like button, share the screen, I'll share this video, and of course subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube, because this is gonna be so much interesting that no one can miss it. Yep, no one can miss it. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, after the draft, it's been a week. Right now, let's look at the check it out for the draft class. We got 11 athletes coming out there for the draft, because first and foremost, they got Astringenti. Second, we got Jack Betch, Darren Porter, Kelly Rogers, Charles Grant, Deontay Thornton Jr., Tonka Hemingway, J.J. Pex, Tony Mellott, Cam Miller, and Colin Lambert. 11 draft players on the 2025 draft class. And let me check out for this one. So it might be like one of the biggest solutions is the running back. Yeah, the biggest solutions is the running back, wide receiver. Some people that just wanted to call out with free safety, because I don't know, it's something like not that really fun right now. But you know what? This is like the first time that I was really pumped up for the draft, because I know that John Spatek has been doing an amazing job, and he's been cooking a lot, because first and foremost, he was on fire to pick all of the chooses, including that. Well, Miles Crosby, they just praised it about the draft class of 2025. I mean, this is gonna be wow. It's going to be really up. We got some comments right now on the YouTube, so I got to check the 1-1. So we got Ray Love. Salute to you, Ray Love. Salute to you. Also, good morning to my Australian brother, Avocasi Raiders. Salute to you. Too sweet. And look at we got over here. We got a Miami Dolphin fan coming up there. Pete Takes to say, good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you, Pete Steak. All right, so between for the draft class, I mean, I was really excited to see all to involve in all those athletes because that's what we need it for. Because right now we got to address the running back, wide receiver, linebacker, but also we just put a lot of monsters on the 2025 class. So, so sorry about that. So, first and foremost, we got the pick one, the first one, at the pick 6, round number 1. There we have it, folks. So here it is. Aston Genty, as known as the Silver Surfer, round 1, pick 6, running back from the Boise State, and looking for the stats of 2024 during this college football career. Rushing attempts, 374 yards, more than 2,061. Also for touchdowns, he connected 29, and for average, 7.0. You guys thinking about like this one? Yeah, because like I said, folks, we need something really bad about for the running back. And to be honest, right now, we just hit on the jackpot. Because if you guys remember the last year, we just drafted Brock Bowers, the best tight end in the whole college football. And now this year, we're just hitting right now to that jackpot again with Aston Genty. Because to be honest, right now, there is a good chance to most people know. Because Pete Carroll's only drafted one running back in the first round. Because if you guys remember Rashad Penny in 2018, there's 3 times Carroll drafted in the top 10. He went 2 OTs with O'Connor and Cross, which is on another teams, and at the defensive back, which is Witherspoon. But they have highly valued their running game. And the trade for the Geno means that they don't want it to go necessarily for the quarterback earlier. Because it only takes one team to draft a guy high. With the rest of the league, they might be lower. Because there's still a possibility a lot of teams who care about positional value. And this is why most first-round players are quarterback, tackles, edge, receivers, and corners. And there's no exceptions that I can see that. No exceptions I've seen that. I mean, I understand that it's going to be like a short thing. Because if you saw the film study, if you saw those highlights, but it's going to be like one of the toppest players in this draft. Because it's like the blue chip prospect. Because it's just missing it out with Saquon Barkley, also Emmitt Smith, Jamar Gibbs, and of course, Christian McCaffrey. Because he guaranteed virtually like at 1,000 yards every season, who played for a long time. Because he's a short thing. He's going to be like one of the best running backs in the league coming off of the game. But it's not going to be like a bust. He's a high percentage gamble. Great vision, great counterbalance, athleticism. He checked all those boxes for the position that translate college production to NFL production better than anyone. If you turn off that label just like a generational, he is. From a great perspective, is very sure for prospects. But the running backs that have the short shell left, it is impossible to predict injuries. But they have like a solid career. But it's going to be the second coming of Saquon Barkley. I mean, if you imagine between Brock Bowers, Aston Genty, Jacoby Myers, Geno Smith, I mean, they have the solely online, and the higher it gets drafted, there's going to be like a likely for the look. Because it's going to be like at another level. He looked ready as a freshman, but also has the special abilities that not being seen below. Because it's most everything you wanted him, but not very special in anything. I mean, what can I tell you about this, folks? I mean, I was really pumped up for everything that I just looking from Aston Genty. And that's the perfect running back that we just drafted. All right, so there is another comment right here to say, Raiders should trade for Jalen Ramsey. Well, I don't think it's going to be really possible, but we should talk about this later. Okay? So we're just talking about this later. Salute to you, Josianic. Salute to you, team. All right, so next up, we got something to really important because I know that tradition continues with just all Davis. And the tradition is let's just draft the guys with the fastest guys. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we got someone who deals had the speed demons coming up there. We got Jack Batch, as known as the wide receiver at TCU, because he was working as a tight end for the LSU, which is known as Louisiana State University, and then he was changing it out for the wide receiver at TCU. He was drafted at the round 2 with a pick number 58. Also, they got in receptions. For the most of the brothers were receptions. They had 72 yards, more than 1,034, touchdowns 9, with average at 16.7. Also, they also got another drafted. For the round 4, the pick number 108, Dante Jordan Jr. Wide receiver for Tennessee Volunteers, also for the receptions 26, yards 661, touchdown 6, average 25.4. So look at this for the wide receivers. And look at the amazing stats we really got over here for the college football stats. And to be honest, right now, I really thought that this is gonna be like a game changer for the wide receivers because I really understand that between Jack Batch and Deontay Jordan Jr. I mean, that looks very, very good, but it seems that they need like something to improve. Yep. But it's gonna be like something very special, to be honest. For the talent of Jack Batch, I mean, it's gonna be really, really great. Because if you see, because there has the better draft capital, they're really gonna expect it. Because it's a sneaky great spot for a solid around, but it's not gonna be a flashy player. But this one is gonna be really special. I mean, he has a work ethic, mindset. He has a faith to believe and achieve. I mean, he's a great kid who originally played for LSU before transferring for Texas Christian University. And during for this time at LSU, he has a reputation to making great NFL receivers. But his transfer to play more and show skills, he aligned to unfortunately passing his brother Tiger. They might be as a forefront that develop with his character beyond words. I mean, this is like a great young man who gives his all day out because he has something else to play for. I mean, they're gonna be taking bets for already know because he's already at the top 10 favorite draft of all time. Because if you see like all of these interviews, film studies, and of course in the combine, I mean, what there's not like. He's gonna be a beast, catches everything a wide receiver and runs like a running back after the catch. I mean, I wonder it's gonna be used so much animation because they're gonna put everything that they got for the extra yard, but there is no doubt he's gonna be working his ass off. But he needs to like just a little bit of improvement between for like his selling. Yep, I know it's gonna be really impressive, but his ceiling is gonna be to improve. I mean, having in this position because it feels like we drafted grinder type athletes. Those guys with the mental toughness is all worth everyone as feel very athletic. And that's robs some teammates too. Yep. And talking about like grinder, we're not talking about like Gruden's grinders. But I know that it's gonna be very high, very motivated. I mean, that's what it needs for it's very special. Because for the field to kick some ass, I mean, there need players with this attitude to create a winning mentality. And he could get to the separation at that level. Is that thing? Is that thing? Because it always had to do with something. Always had to do with something, but it's not like because if you pronounce like the name is Jack Batch, no bitch, no beach. I mean, But to be honest, right now, for that talent of Jack Batch, he was born. He was born to do this. He was born to do this. Hey, how's it going, Miko Bessi? Salute to you. Also, Miko Bessi to say, what did you grade the Genty pick? Well, I will say this because the Aston Genty grade, I would do it like an A. I would do it like an A because for me, the power of running back, it took like for the another level coming out like that. Hey, how's it going, Orange Cat? Salute to you. Salute to you. So I will give it like an A. I will give it an A for the grade of Aston Genty. Yep. But between for like Deontay Jordan Jr., yeah, because I know that's something that I was getting involved with this one. But talking about Jack Bedge, I mean, if you can see like the story, I mean, that quite a lot. That quite a lot because he was born to be a Raider. He was born to it. And he has it like a playing for the Warrior, but if need soon like good weapons aside for the other guys. I mean, those three guys are really hard to tackle. Bowers, Gentry, and Batch. I mean, they were going to wear defense. Because if you gotta account for Gentry, first and foremost, it was like very confident that we can say like without seeing just taking a snap, and they go for the count for Bowers. It was basically Hall of Fame about for the first season. But even with injuries last year to most of the key players and lack of the depth, we're gonna be still competitive. We'll only improve with the exception of linebacker, cornerback, and for the offensive. If someone's winning, because it had to get the ball accurately, the play action is gonna be absolutely lethal. With Gent's ability and of course Jack Batch, I mean, we're gonna tell it about this one. Yep. Sounds like a great idea for me. Also, in this one, we have Dante Johnson Jr., which is from Tennessee Volunteers. And let me tell you this one because he's one of the most efficient playmaker. It is good to see because he ends out with like a bowling like a Marcus Aldez Cannon type of receiver. I mean, that would be like a great tip. But he's like one of the newest pass catcher because we got a really nice little deep middle trade going forward. But he has a very potential to go up into something. It's not very too race for a 4-rounder, but they really like it. But this guy can already just run straight lines, but he and Tucker will clear him some space. We're out of the backfield. Most of the value for the offense, primarily operating for the short, the main range, because Thornton might be like a one-trick pony, but only one trick stretching out the field could be really enough to keep defense for stacking the bots, especially when they combine with Tucker's a light speed and Gino preference for big plays. It's gonna be really like it. But they're gonna save it like an only fly routes. But he has a very good deep post game in the 5-yard flat catch radius instead of running a simple pass behind for the line of the big dude that fights for the ball at 3-5 yards. It's even better. I mean, that really likes for this guy. I mean, I really like it. There you go for this one. Hey, look at what we got over here. Salute to my brother. What's good, Ralf? Have a good show, brother. Salute to you, Real Talk, Radio Nation, as known as AO5. Look, I know that between for the next week, I might have to do something. A collaboration with AO5, Sabir, Protect the Shield. I mean, maybe we can contact you on DMs. Yep. On Twitter right now, because I know there's going to be something really interesting. But salute to you, Real Talk, Radio Nation. Salute to you. Have a blessed morning. So, good morning to you. Top of the morning. Pause. So sorry about it. All right. So, talking about Deontay Thornton Jr., because I know that it's not going to be really mids. But at the minute that I just saw for the film study, it'll be his posting defense for the aggressive deep ball to Thornton. Even the best safeties are going to like aggressing the run protection, especially with the base like Jonty getting so much action. And the straight lane speed is necessary, and that guy has it. Because I don't know why, if you can be 6'5" and run like at a 4.3, but in that case, I mean, all Davis is smiling down from the boat. And that's just like what he needs for like all around for like the strategy. Fastest guys, great guys, big guys, pause. But he has a very huge potential, but he can send out like the type of role, which is not really bad. And this is going to get exactly what you want in the 4th round. But then going for the basics, I mean, that's pretty good. That's very good. Because those guys in that room, they have way more than we're thinking about we do. Because if you're a true Raider, nothing else, he's 6'5" in the rounds 430, it's going to be so much interesting. So much interesting that he just embody all the with his camp right now, because it's kind of like most potential playmaking. And I love that. I love that. Because it's not like a fine mirage or something more. Because I know he was bad at the number one at your fantasy receivers in the do, but it's possibly that how good the one trick. I mean, between for like something to see a little more discussion, this hey, the crazy workout numbers is pretty much he's relevant. I mean, he has pretty significant hole in that game, but didn't meet those concerns, because that would be like one of these prospect model. Yep. And between for like the overall, because he's still very close of like the prospect along for like his uncle. I mean, it's going off of offensive skill players in this draft, because it's gonna be like a fun situation with them mostly gonna working it out. But I know the defense is gonna put an end to a way to get more games like that. Yep, they're gonna get with more games like that. So it's gonna be some much interesting. All right, so next up, we got this one. A monster defense. Charles Grant, Chuck Hemingway, and Kelly Rogers. So to be honest right now, what I just call the monster defense, because ladies and gentlemen, those guys are defensive tackle and offensive line. I mean, look at it like this one. This one is very important to talk about it. Because first up, we got Tonka Hemingway, all the way down from South Carolina. And I just wanted to tell you, welcome to the nation, Tonka, because I know it's Terrell. Because he was born and raised in Conway, South Carolina, 50 minutes from Myrtle Beach. Yep. And let me just talk it about for like this athlete, because he just became like a true prospect. He was like a multi-sport athlete through childhood, including baseball, basketball, and football. He was trained with his father. Yep. And he was playing at Michigan. And to be honest right now, he's very active with body control and lateral mobility. He is a wrecking ball with initial momentum off the snap. He missed it off with a rush with spins, club and seams, effective on stuns. But he worked it out for the down for the lane of scrimmage. And one of the deepest defensive lines in college football, he lined up with multiple spots and show he can make an impact with across the line. Because he was undersized for the interior work, but he can jarret off balance once engaged with a toss it to the ground. So I think the NFL offense will hesitate to run at him, because it's not going to be like a ton of success for the pure on player in the NFL. But the moves are the sides that have given itself. But it's like, who are we going to stop right now? Because we just reached like a small defensive tackle with a high motor over the quarterback who was protected on the first. But it seems that he has very vision, incredible motor, because our coaches, including Wilkinson Crosby, they're going to try to eliminate the full time for the player. He made a switch in his real reaching the ceiling, second and third round talent. But I think there's gonna be something. There's gonna be something really interesting on the roster. But as of the great academics, and one of those weaknesses, say, lacks the old frame with a great interior. Maybe he can improve that. Yep. And I know he struggles to regain rushing momentum when it's initially stopped, but I think that it is happening for the respect for the master of good names. But my understanding, because it's not like a defensive tackle, because it could have played the pass rushing sub packages, but it's not going to be really studied enough for the play downs. Maybe a bit of studied enough for the defensive edge of the NFL. That might be no. That might be no for that. Because this is going to be something like, boing, really interesting. Hey, how's it going, Chess Sean? Did I say, hey, that's my hometown? Oh, your hometown is South Carolina? I didn't expect it because I know that I live in North Carolina. So I know that it's it's going down for this one. So salute to you, Chess Young. Salute to you. But after what you see, look at the Tonka Hemingway, he truly built after the monster. But he needs to improve with his selling. But of course, he wants to struggle a lot. But I think there's gonna be a lot of reach. Everything. Because that chin will help to keep him clean, potentially outside of the edge. All right. Next up, we got Charles Grant. And he was born for this. He was born for this. Because it is really great that we just wanted to see Charles Grant power. Because he grew up in Virginia. And he was working not only as a football athlete, but he knows wrestling. He knows wrestling. He was very easy athletes with a lot of power, flexibility, and burst. He can see this wrestling background and now he's used body positioning, but also he competes hard, consistent block finisher, and he will start all 36 games for the past 3 seasons. I know he's light-footed, long arm, and flash of the competitive edge through the whistle. Is a great place to start with offensive linemen. Through his ability to jump the screen, he's a savage edge defenders with a key unpolished areas for this game. Probably his upright pads and frenetic passing, but is a name of big man with outstanding edge. Let move and twitch, and to be honest right now, he wants to develop with the better patience and muscle mass to the matchup with the NFL competition. I know he has other traits for the future NFL starter, which projects and a strong-heavy offense, similar ways to Spencer Bufford. Because I know he played left tackle, because he didn't look at any snaps to the guard, center, or right tackle for William Mary. That could be something that he needs to get involved with a lot of things more. Yep. He needs to go to the late and tires more, because I know there's going to be something Frank Moodis in the speed, at the breakdowns of his footwork. But wrestling has to be huge for fighting, for a lineman. But his team tackle to be more guard, but he needs to a little find this team's he's a very good person, but he also keeps improve that will do well with NFL coaching. Yep. And next up we got Kelly Rogers. And I know that I was because I know my throat, it's not that really great, but sorry about that. All right, so let's just take it to bonus right now for Kelly Rogers. He's very impressive initial quicks, implies life on his feet. His also short, long pulse and creative exit caps, and he's very stout with the contact. The ball in hands or driving finish, and he has energetic play and personality and doesn't coast at all. Doesn't coast. Because I know there's one thing, because I really thought that Glaze had a decent rookie season, also the third round pick. So I know he's going to be competing like Glaze for a right tackle, but he's going to be announced as a guard. Yep. I mean, the competition is never a bad thing, and injuries happen all the time. But I thought that our line is always injured, but having depth is very key. But they just wanted to keep like at this moment between for like Cal Rogers. And to be honest, right now, I mean, he was born for that. He was born for that. I mean, he was probably working at the right tackle or the former offensive coordinator, Zach Keighley, have his own counter scheme. But he needs to continue technical refinement with the sense of posture, especially inside of the guard. But his blend of foot quickness, playing strength, ability, toughness, he created optimism for this prioritization. I mean, he was like a diversity backup with a spot starter's potential. And I know that his hands is very heavy. His balance at pad level started working with the tempo to counter shift. He rushes to sustain for the wrong game. But I really know that it reminds me like a little of what Jackson Powers Johnson did last season. But he brings the energy. He'll be like another favorite for the team right now. Anything. Bringing it all for like all of us. Because I know that if John Spitek did the right thing to drafting monsters, and of course, beast defense, that was exactly that would love to. That was exactly what would love to. And to be honest, I really like the attention that it just brought like a lot of great defense to put a lot of depth in this one. All right, so next up, we got for this one. Tommy Mellott, quarterback from Montana State, and Cam Miller from North Dakota State. Now, this looking reminds one of the most watched games in college football. Because at this point, Tommy Mellott and Cam Miller, both quarterbacks drafted in the late rounds. It sounds really impressive at all. Really impressive at all, because I know we have our quarterback, which is Geno Smith. Also, we got, well, Aiden O'Connell. But with for the pick of Cam Miller, I mean, at first, I looked like it more than the Cam body that I just get off of the mind. Because I know some of those persons, he was a Brady guy. That we would have said that the quarterback can save for a learn a couple of years before starting him. But it's impossible. It's possible to its mentality will ruin the drafting of the first round. Because a player drafted in the first round will be like the guy for the play day one. That mentality won't be ruined anything. Will be ruined. I mean, to be honest, I had to believe that there's no two ways to draft pick with a Cam body whether they just get an undrafted free agency. This guy is more athletic than AOC, as known as Aiden O'Connell. So I think it's going to be later that Kevin will obey in the backup with a couple of years. But I don't want it to believe that it wasted a backup quarterback. As the better talent that I can at least a continue day one, there's a additional player somewhere. But my reaction, if they want to string a third string quarterback that can stash in a practice squad without someone poaching him, most of the 6 and 7 rounds don't make like the 50-man rank roster anyway. So they took like a guy to learn the playbook. It eventually got to the backup as a little risk to stay. He plays pretty well on the season, but he could be legit compete as a backup because someone has to really go with this one. Great footwork, several sets fit, good spacing, athletic enough, good career vision for a quarterback. He's a strong runner, but he has very enough potential to develop a starting quarterback. And with no rush to start, I'm really excited that he's a Republic, and he hopes to get a shot. But I think he needs to improve like the blitzes because he doesn't have to play well. He was late on the throws, obviously the second window. He doesn't have a lot of velocity on the throws. I'm squeezing into tight windows. And I know he has a very strong arm, but doesn't especially to the quick release and throwing motion. And I know we just drafted the quarterback, which is very important, but it's not gonna be very we wasted it off. But let's just happen. Let's just happen of a lot of this one. Because they just brought like a similar accomplishment as Tom Brady. Because that was like an American dog. And who would thought that they could be like a sounds like really champion right now. And between for like both players, which is Tommy Mellott and Cam Miller, the whole playoff was magnificent. Because some people they can't believe that it just draft Miller and Mellott. It gives like if we draft Bryce Lance next year, where we have like a light or receiver. But funny, this game pre-show that we draft each. Miller has the upside to genuine Drew Thread because he made some pretty throws and few nice reds. Tommy Mellott is head of the athlete with the okay arm, but the okay can be viable for gadgets. But it's gonna be like a nice way to throw darts. And he personally, because he was able to cover him that led the arm to the giver like in the middle of the field to the long drop by Miller. I mean, that could be something to realize that he's very crazy because he just won the world debate in the world as a top player for the last season. Powerful, but a loss of runner. But absolutely monster pro day that blues out of the battle for the draft card. And one of those cards is Daniel Jeremiah. He's mainly valued as a returner. And he was going to be that like Julie Edelman type player. But they gotta love this. They gotta love this. Because he's gonna be figuring out the transition to White out here with Dad Lincoln seeing to continue on a return game because they gotta take here. Because he was like a true freshman who took like the Bobcats in the national championship game. He's a great player, but he might know the transfer skill to become like an NFL quarterback, but he's really shifty athletic. I know that Montana State has run an offensive very heavy, so it's already good running skills and pretty good for the offensive field, but as an official position, they might end up being like a wide receiver or quarterback. Considering we have Jim Kelly as an offensive coordinator. I wouldn't be surprised if he is that they catch a player just like Davidson Hill. You remember the guy from New Orleans Saints? Yep. We all know about that. We all know. But between for like this one, so thank you, Pete Takes, for reposting that post. So thank you very much for everything. So I wasn't really expected to get more of this because I will give like some of the great talents put in all this one. And I love how the people just wanted to invest like great talents, but also they just wanted to take all of it. Hey, how's it going? Right, a rundown. Salute to you. Josué Brian 93 making the walk. Salute to you. Salute to you. Welcome to the show. You say have a great show, Rafa. Salute to you. Ready to rundown. Yeah, I just saw you on Instagram and of course on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to Ready to Rundown, ladies and gentlemen. So this right here is one of the greatest. It's one of the greatest. But I will give the draft picks. I will just give it like an A. I will give it like an A's because if I was me, because I will give it like an A plus. So this is like the draft grade for the 2025 NFL draft. I will give it like an A. A plus because I didn't put the plus right now because well, I know the draft class is truly amazing. And I know that John Spatek is very cooking, very good. But they know about freak athleticism, run scheme, and of course, blue chip prospects. Because they know exactly what the world's going to need. Because it's gonna be like something like doesn't have the risk, but they just wanted to see that the new look at the offense is gonna be pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. And you know, I know the draft is really rough because we have 11 players coming up there. Because what we learned about this, because this is like one of the best Raiders draft in years. And I understand that in many years, they didn't draft a Jalen Carter or a Shador Sanders. They might be incredible athletes, but if there's character red flag problems, they will pick something else. But it's the best draft ever. Because I know that as a Raider fan for a few years, I never experimented a draft like this. I mean, if you guys remember, Telesco did a solid year. And of course, the 2024 draft was really great for all for the fans. 2019 had the potential because all for the draft capital, but Gruden decided to Gruden. Moving back to the second and getting those extra picks as an underrated move. I mean, that's a great job for the new regime because it often can tell you about for the draft picks. I know exactly what we need it for. Know exactly what we need it for. Because we still have it at the top of the cap space. So I'm very impressed about the new regime. Once the season starts, we'll see like good coaching brains at the game management because they've been in love and hand for a long time. I mean, I know that Ken makes it a good draft. I know it's gonna be very good. I know that Ashton Jeanty will be good. Charles Grant will be good. Also, Jack Batch is gonna be good. But it's gonna be something that they have a feeling that the coaching is gonna be like something interesting, including for Deontay Jordan Jr., big sleeper on the draft. They have a feeling what's this guy that's getting NFL style coaching is gonna be the one that no one saw coming, and they just make really sense, and they become like the key pieces coming up there. And I know that we are not wasting one of the 7 rounders. But if you can do for it the best Raider draft in all these years, because that will be like really awesome. Because right now we just drafted defensive tackle, wide receiver, quarterback, linebacker. What are the defensive tackles plays fullback? I mean, the first sets picks were awesome. Jeanty, Peck, Porter, absolute studs. Rogers and Grant are protected to lead all streamers. I mean, that has 2 comparators, Calvin Johnson and Randy Moss. Because I know this is exactly what we wanted to. And we might be on the playoffs, but if we had something, a lot of potential, blue chip perspective, and of course, the running game scheme is going to be so much interesting. Because they're going to be looking at quite a few short. Because I know that some people, they got to really scared. Really scared at all. Really scared. Because I understand that some of the athletes can the ball into something that are more to the freester, speedster afraid they will be all pros. They'll be all pros. Because I know it's been a while that the Raiders nailed a draft. Because I'm going to be like really optimistic for that season. Because we just nailed it, the draft. And it seems like very tough for the front office and coaching staff. That's what exactly what our franchise needs to us. To get him back to the old school vibes. To get it to the victory. And this one is going to be, this is not going to be like a starter race. All that matters, who crossed the finish line. Because I know the big players is out in the NFL. Little players don't. I mean, the other one was the steal of the draft. because it's gonna be so much interesting. But I will give it like an A plus, and it was just like a masterpiece because it happens with the debut of John Spatek. A lot of this one, and talking about Darren Porter has an immense upside with the cause of athleticism, led to the quarterback and possessed similar potential to stellar athlete, who apparently near that more than 4,000 snaps in college in 4 positions. And I know that this is going to be like a masterpiece for a team that need skill position weapons, an offense on them, on defense. So I love that. I love that. I love that the draft became so much interesting that we need it for. Yep. And speaking about like the draft grade, because I know it's been like 47 minutes talking about draft grades and of course the total draft grade, because I will give like an A plus. An A plus for everything. But you know what? Speaking about like, because I know that I can talk about a little bit of basketball, but do you guys see the NBA playoffs? Yeah, the NBA playoffs. I mean, that should be like a more interesting. And right now they have conference semifinals for the Eastern Conference. They had Cleveland Cavaliers versus Indiana Pacers. Also for the Eastern Conference, they had New York Knicks versus Boston Celtics. Yep, how about that? And still missing for the Western Conference because Los Angeles Lakers, well, once again, they just got eliminated, along with Luka Doncic, LeBron James. Also, Oklahoma City is going to the Western Conference semifinals, and they still got on it because they still got Denver Nuggets versus LA Clippers and Houston Rockets versus Golden State Warriors. I mean, that should be like a really interesting to put off of this work right now. But between for like the NBA playoffs, I mean, that sounds really, really, really impact. But I think this year, I don't think the Boston Celtics could handle the championship. But there's like a more difference between like they were literally beating the shit out of each other for all the point. I mean, both East and West Conference as several teams got main players fall so harshly, but the medical treatment is required. But it's like the playoff players are more tough and really a lot more physical contact. But this is like one of the best by far, one of the best NBA playoffs because the Clippers Nuggets series is so amazing, and they need to allow to be physical because that's when you see look at the players get heated. The way these teams are absolutely amazing is great to watch, and they don't even change a thing, everything, because I think the part is much competitive to the matchup because both teams they have the serious chance. Those guys can play really dangerous. And this with them because they'll be really fantastic and they need to continue at all. It's always like this. It's always like this because I've been an NBA fan for over years because it's always like this. Nowadays, every single is on TV, but the blowout, same thing. I mean, if you go like anything, because many teams each other are the cousin where probably the full cold brawl if there is no referees. I mean, Rockets versus Warriors, Brooks versus Draymond with like the biggest fight, but they had to be like more consistent. And also they were literally beating shit out. They're only one. But the difference is very satirical. Some years more people get injured, some years less. But somehow this is a call for like the defense or the referees or allowing to players or exercise those skills. I mean, to be honest, I mean, they're getting really nasty. It's a contact sports. I know that that's much hard to something because it's gonna be like at a really day. Really day. Really day because it seems like the most challenging and exciting the recent years because the talent and competitiveness of the model is just like being comfortable to be like really roughly. I mean, after the software like the playoffs, I mean, it's gonna be like really excited for a long time, because they have a hungry thunder ready to dominate it, which in fact that did happen. That did happen. I mean, they were making a show with, because if you look into LA Clippers, they're making a show with Harden, Kawhi, and Subak. And I know it's gonna be really unreal, because I'm really shocked. Really shocked, because I had to do it, because they had to prepare about this one. Because if they want to make ready, they would have to make like something. Because if they need to improve like something between for like the playoffs and the semifinals, they could be used to step for the process of learning and of course being competitive at all time. Be competitive at all time. Yep. It's one of my thoughts about like the NBA playoffs. Because I know that between for like the recap with what happened on the first round of the playoffs, I mean, like it's really insane. Really insane, for the God's sake. I mean, wow. And I just wanted to tell it about this one last thing, because I know that my throat, it's not that really good. But right now, it is another episode of Straight Outta Nation, because do you guys see the new logo? Do you guys see the new name for like the new logo for Straight Outta Nation and the Combat Club? Because I know at 1 p.m. I'm gonna do like a preview between for like the boxing, UFC, because it's gonna be like a real good. It's gonna be at 2 p.m. Yep, at 2 p.m. So I just wanted to tell you, make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube, and of course, I just wanted to tell you, follow me on every social media at Twitter, Instagram, Rumble, Twitch, TikTok. You know what that means. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you guys for joining us for this episode of Straight Outta Nation. This is the Rush and Shine Friday. And I just wanted to tell you, have a blessed Friday. And of course, have a great weekend. So salute to you. See you there. Vámonos.